Now, that was a very informative morning. I learned something. Before we start, I want to introduce myself. My name is David. My pronouns are very tired. My wife just gave birth to twins. I'm actually 22 years old. I'm just kidding. And I'm very privileged. I'm very honored to speak to you today. I will speak a little bit about AI. And I know what you guys are thinking. What is this young kid doing at stage? I know. But AI is here. We're here. And we're here to hopefully not teach you something, but learn something from you and together with you. I was in Paris last week at the Equipe Hotel conference, and I was giving a speech, or I was prepared to give a speech, and I entered the conference room and I saw all of these funny vendors, including ourselves, the company that I do work for and represent. Every single stand had the words reimagine, rethink, rebuild, re-everything. And I sit there and I think to myself, oh my God, we're not sending people to Mars. We're just tech vendors trying to enhance the architecture of our industry. I still do believe, or at this point I still believe, that every advancement in technology is a great advancement until I hit the restrooms at this venue. And I saw something that drove me into an existential crisis. I get it. We want data. And yes, data is extremely important. It is the foundation of AI. It is the foundation of everything we stand for and work for. But what is this data used for? What are we trying to achieve here? Do we really need to measure my satisfaction score in the toilet? And having learned that germs are bad over the past years, do we really want to have people touching the same button in the bathroom just to tell me how good I'm performing or where I can save money? So that really put me into an existential crisis, and I said to myself, oh my God, we're not here to teach you something, we're not here to sell you something, but we should be here really to learn from you and to ask questions. So I completely restructured my speech, and I reached out to my friends at OpenAI, and I said, I'm a revenue guy, I come from the hospitality revenue industry, and I really am interested in the question that is looming. Are we going to be replaced at some point? So OpenAI answered, and they said, you know what? We might have just the guy to talk to you, someone we all know. And ChatGPT said, actually, you can breathe. It's very unlikely that you're going to be replaced as a hotel revenue manager. AI can enhance their capabilities, can enhance stream and judgment, adaptability, and relation management skills that are still remaining crucial for this industry. Those are skills that we will, in the foreseeable future, not be able to replace with AI, and this is what makes us special. So I said, all right, follow-up question. Then really what makes a revenue manager so special? Because pretty much it's just an accumulation of data and the ability to perform analysis on that data to come to a projected outcome. Nothing a machine couldn't do. And the chatbot said, the hotel industry is subject to continuous change, influenced by many factors that are very unpredictable, such as emerging trends, geopolitical trends, economical trends, all the way down to the simple facts, just the seasonality. Revenue managers need to adapt quickly and creatively respond, while AI is just there to assist. So then I said, all right, let's do a reality check here. I cannot remember the last time I had enough time at work to be truly creative. What we have done as an industry, as a society, is we have been demoting ourselves voluntarily. We've demoting ourselves from revenue managers to plain analysts. I don't know how many times I have accumulated plain, and excuse my French, stupid reports for the sake of reporting them to whoever. Does it make sense? I don't know. I don't care. I'm just doing what I'm being asked to do. But does it make sense? Am I, as a revenue manager, just a reporting person? Or am I there? Am I hired to drive strategic decisions in the future? I know the answer. I hope you do too. So let's rethink everything. Before we reimagine, before we reinvent everything, I think we need to ask ourselves, what can we actually do? And where do we want to go? I'm a dreamer, I'm a visionary, I'm a disruptor. So I like to think, where do I go? And then think about, how can I achieve that? If I had to choose, I would like an RMS system, a revenue management system that does allow me to interact with generative intelligence, ask questions, strategic questions, projective analysis, predictive analysis, and a prompt-based query, just like we know it from ChatGPT. Great, everyone would love that. So how do we get there? This is a data architecture of a revenue management system and the data connectivity. Nothing changed since the last 20 years. We're looking at a PMS system, however that might be called. I'm not discriminating. There's a third-party application, a rate shopper, some external data that you manually configure, you adjust, and you implement into your system. It gets ingested in some sort of algorithmic machine, AI, deep learning, machine learning, you name it. And it gives you exactly 3 types of outcome. One is an analytical outcome, your reporting engine, your forecasting engine, followed by your optimization engine. This is it. Ever since Cornell told us revenue management, nothing has changed, which is extremely frustrating for young people like me because I used to work in the hospitality industry on the revenue side. I switched. I was in real estate investment, worked on the investment, on the development side. Now I'm in big tech, and I think to myself, since 20 years, we're about to send people to Mars. Why the heck can we not change this? Is it so hard? Turns out it isn't. All we needed is something that we all know, we all live with. It's called generative intelligence. With generative intelligence, the introduction of data lake technology, all of these advancements that allow us to include unstructured data from data sources into our decision-making engine, may that be a PMS system of our choosing, sales and catering and event systems of our choosing, POS, financial system that run in the background, and virtually any type of third-party data that is available and that can be connected via an open API connection. All of this data is possible to collect under the premises of a data lake technology, which in essence is pretty much what it sounds like. You just take data and you dump it into an unstructured lake, which is the foundation of generative AI and the architecture of how it works. In return, that gives us the ability to actually ask questions that are interesting for us, that bring us further, questions we never dared to ask because we were told from get-go, that's a stupid idea. It's not going to work. How frustrating is that? Now we do have generative intelligence, and we do have the ability to ask these questions. The question is now, do we want to? Do we know which questions to ask? There's many people out there, there's many vendors, including us, that tell you this is the thing you need to look at, that's the most important ratio, that's the new invention. But do we ever take the time to really ask you what's important to you? I don't know your hotels. Not all hotels are created equal, and you have your own set of challenges that I cannot predict. But you need to have this courage to ask these questions with technology that we can provide. So ChatGPT says that was extremely interesting. Thank you for that. I get it. But it's the reality, and it's something that we all need to adapt to and should be interested in. I acknowledge and I say, you know what, you have a point. Let's make this a little bit easier to comprehend, a little bit easier to digest, and let's break things down. Let's just pretend. Let's make it a game. The two of us, we built a revenue management system. The first thing I would like to look at is the users, not the technology. That will come. Oh, wow, somebody didn't have his coffee today. And ChatGPT says, you know what, I can't wait. So if we look at users, we have to think, and we have to keep in mind that we live in a very, very interesting time. We have a bunch of generations that live and coexist and have to work with each other. On the one hand, we have Generation Z, which, by the way, the oldest Generation Z is 28 years old. They're not kids. They are the decision makers of the future. So hyper-personalization is extremely, extremely important. And I give an example. I was out having lunch with my niece. She's 7 years old. And I'm ordering a salad. She's ordering spaghetti bolognese. And instead of the bolognese, she wants vegan pasta instead of the meat. She wants zucchini and she wants peppers. And instead of the Parmesan, she wants, I don't know, pine nuts on it. So I apologized to the waiter and I said, I'm sorry, she should have ordered the veggie pasta. And then I clicked and then it realized this generation is a generation that grew up with dopamine addiction, with distraction, with AI, with predetermined content that is tailor-made for this person. So hyper-personalization is not something out of the ordinary for generations to follow, but it is the norm, the exception that we need to live with if we want to work with those people. ChatGPT tells me, help me to understand a little bit better. And I said, okay, so if we translate it into a revenue system or a system of any kind, one thing I really would like to look at is user personas. There's so many people in restaurants, in hotels, in bars, in whatever type of industry you're representing that have a different set of needs, a different set of expectations when to look at data. So why not tailor-make and tailor this content around a user persona? It can be anyone in any hotel to leverage data and really make it hyper-personalized to their expectations. A front office person should be looking at data for today. What's my occupancy? How many housekeepers do I need to get set to clean the room? What's my overbooking level? Everything else this person does not really care about. And it's his right or her right to not care about this. On the other hand, I need to open up systems to make them complex, to make them moldable for consultants, for revenue managers, to really deep dive into data and make this data quantifiable in a very visualizing, pleasing way. And if we take this further on the third pillar, we have to have consolidated information for regional management. Everything that we manually input into the system and give to our owners in a format of Excel or whatever, this type of hyper-personalization can be included in any type of software development. So ChatGPT says, I got it. I think different user personas created, but what's the actual content? What are we trying to do here? So I said, okay, let me give you some examples. What if we actually let the users decide what is important? If there was one learning from the Equipe Hotel last week, then this is actually, you guys know what to do. You guys just don't ask the questions because you're scared. Scared to be replaced, scared to not be knowledgeable. I'm going to give you a hint. Nobody knows what AI is going to be able to do, including myself, including anyone in this room, because we simply can't. We live in times of exponential growth. Right now, it's our opportunity to really grab him by the horns and take the lead in asking the right questions. So how could content look like? And again, we live in a fork of, I call it a renaissance that is not new. It has been there before many, many times. It was the .com revolution, there was the mobile revolution, there was the social revolution, and there's companies out there that have missed all of these three revolutions and are still successful. If your company is one of them, congratulations. Likelihood is that 99.9% of you will go out of business if we don't adapt to AI. It's not a matter of if, it's there. It's a matter of how we react to this inevitably future. So I said, you know what, insights are only as good as the actions we can take from that. So why don't we start with that? What are actionable insights that users can use right away? So the system comes back to me and says, how about this? Widgetization of content, making it easy to digest. We live in a time where we do have two extremes in a hotel, two extremes of employees. The ones that are Generation Boomer, Generation X, they're the most loyal employees that we have. But if you tell those people that we have a technological revolution, they will have a heart attack. On the other hand, we have Gen Z, Gen Alpha, the people that hired or are hired by organizations, and after 2 hours on the job, actually tell you, you know what, David, that's a fantastic idea, but I've already optimized your entire operation. You're welcome. How do we get these two people to not only coexist, but to have a democratic approach on how to deliver tailor-made content to them, to give them actionable insights that they can actually use and leverage for my financial incentive as a company? So I say, okay, that is great. Let's dive a little bit further into this material. What can those be? And ChatGPT asked me, do you want to have a closer look? I say, absolutely, show me what you can do. Hyper-personalization of content does not stop with the content itself, but also the way that you communicate within your organizations. Finance revenue, one of the ancient wars in any hotel when it comes to budget season, highly inefficient, highly reliant on Excel data, highly reliant on corruptible data. Why not integrate all of these steps and all of these necessities in one synergetic environment to enhance collaboration in a hotel? Technology is there. Why not do it? Taking a very, very basic example of group optimization, the old war between sales and revenue. Can I sell this room? No, you can. I turn around. Of course, you got the rate. What was the conversation about? Nothing. I could have had this in an email format. Now we give people the opportunity to really dive into gray areas. Humans are programmed to favor binary decision, yes or no, black or white, right and wrong. That's not how AI works. AI works on a grayscale. So why not enable AI and enable users to give people a grayscale? As simple as a group quotation. Doesn't have to be a numerical value. Can be a predictive value. Multidimensional pricing. For the last 20 years, we have been telling you you should optimize your hotel in a certain way. There's no need for that anymore. You have the power, you have the decision power to decide which strategy you would like to use. And AI is and will assist you in this endeavor. Just be brave to rethink and break out of existing structures. So I say, okay, not bad. That's actually really good stuff. But I still have to go through all of my reports and all of my analysis manually. So now where's my time saving? And ChatGPT says, well, that's your job, isn't it? But let's be positive. Let's work on this together. What if we combine technological excellence with human brilliance? Here's a dashboard, all of the internal, external data points that you might want to look at to find a strategic decision for this particular day. The data is broken down into categories so you can decide what type of content is valuable to you. How can that look? And now it gets really interesting. I would like you to really pay close attention to this screen, because now what I'm doing is I'm leveraging predictive intelligence with market and with industry needs. What if we can not only do reactive revenue management, but be proactive? What if a machine and AI would have the ability to look into the future, let's say 8 months, 10 months, 12 months, on a second-to-second basis, and really evaluate in real time what is happening in the market? There's a little economical phenomena that we call Swiftonomics that we all have heard. It's the fact that entire hotels, entire markets, entire cities sell out within the bench of 1 hour, 2 hours if a certain performer from the United States announces a concert. This is reality. Are you prepared to react to this change if it occurs on a Saturday night and you're sleeping or you're out drinking? You're not. AI has the ability to not replace, something broke, not replace your existing staff, but to elevate your existing staff by adding capabilities that these people, although intellectually able to do, cannot perform simply because of the fact that they are human. They have to sleep, they have to eat, they have to have time with their families. So AI is there to really give you an approach to proactive revenue management, analyzing the market, and leveraging this technology to your advantage. How? That's really up to you. And ChatGPT says, before I forget it, I've also created a little pricing widget for you, including real competitor data. This way you can take actions right away. We like to think of competitor data as a static or a numerical value that is pushed and pulled once a day with our rate shopping system that we have. This is no longer necessary. We do have real-time information, real-time data streaming, where we can make decisions on a confirmation to confirmation to confirmation basis. Every single change in my PMS system is recorded, sent to the system, and reforecasted in real time. Now that's the real leverage, because that's something that you definitely don't have the time for or ever will have. ChatGPT says, you're welcome. Before I forget, let's talk about automation. Really the point where time is your best friend. Let's optimize and automate a system that never sleeps for you. We've heard it, the previous speaker, we've heard it many times. AI doesn't sleep. AI doesn't belong to a labor union. AI works for you 24/7. Markets are changing. Competition is changing. And although you might think you have a leg up because you're part of a corporation, you're part of a chain, rethink the leverage that you had in the past is going to diminish. Your financial leverage, your payroll leverage, your existing structures are going to be disrupted, are disrupted by a young kid with access to generative intelligence. And this person will outperform you on any level. This is the inevitable truth. The question is, are you ready for it? So lastly, just to wrap a bow on this, how about the pricing decisions? Something that I do on a daily basis as a revenue manager. Automated, already uploaded, don't worry about it. Do you want to take charge? Yeah, do it, let's talk about it. But there's no need for you guys to really indulge in these mundane tasks. You have time to become strategists and really ask the important questions while letting the machine do all of the automation. This goes all the way down to uploads. Your CRS system, your channel manager, your distribution system, you get the idea. Automation is key. So then really the only question that is asked, or the only question that remains is, hey, I ask you to collaborate, I ask you to be a team player, I ask you to build a revenue management system with me, but now you tell me you've done all of these things, so why am I here? What am I doing? And ChatGPT says, you know what, that's really up to you. You have asked me a question to optimize your workflow, to optimize your performance, to optimize everything that was subject to optimization. But the only thing that I cannot optimize is something that is unique to us as humans and will always remain the same. And this is human brilliance. So use the technology, ask the right questions. But don't forget that human brilliance is really what makes you special, what makes your hotels and your organization special. And this is something that AI will never take away from you. Thank you.